more than 100 women who experienced pain and complications from vaginal mesh implants have received payouts from 3 manufacturers of the products.
It is the first successful group claim in England after some 10,000 women were injured by mesh implants.
The implants were used to treat pelvic prolapse and incontinence. However, in some cases, they have caused debilitating harm with side effects including infection, pelvic pain and difficulty urinating.
In April of 2018, the then Health Secretary, Jeremy Hunt, announced a review following concerns. 3 months later, the use of them was broadly suspended.
Now, more than 100 women who experienced complications have received payouts from manufacturers.
Let's talk now to Kath Sampson, who's the founder of the campaign group Sling the Mesh. Kath, good morning to you. So finally, a element of compensation. What do you make of that? Is it enough, and does it rectify the issue?
Well, it's a huge win for patients. It's the first product liability case where lawyers have taken on the industry giants and won. That's massive. However, we need to remember that it's only 140 women, which is a tiny fraction of the number suffering. So there's many thousands more in my support group that deserve compensation.
Why has it taken such a long time to get to this point?
I think the way English law is, it's been almost impossible for people to take on product liability cases. The last group product liability was metal hips that failed in 2018. So it's just such a fight. It's tiring. And for us, it renews our call for non-adversarial financial redress. Now, a report went to government at the start of this year calling for financial redress that women just get because they're mesh injured. But of course, with the new government, we're waiting to hear what will happen to that report and if the new government will indeed agree to compensate harmed women.
So we're talking this morning about 100 women, but your campaign group actually has, I think, around 11,000 members. What sort of stories do you hear from them about what they've been through?
Devastating stories. Women who are healthy and vibrant and they've gone in for a quick fix for bladder leaks or prolapse, generally caused by childbirth. They come out and it's either instantly or incrementally over a matter of months or years. They start suffering chronic pain, infections. 7 in 10 have lost their sex lives because of the pain. They've lost jobs, hobbies, marriages, and as a result, the impact on their mental health and well-being is terrible. More than 60% suffer with anxiety and depression, and sadly 25% of the group have actually considered suicide. So these aren't small complications, they're life-changing, and in many cases they're often irreversible. And we all went for this surgery trusting our doctors. We were innocent players in this whole story, and it feels desperately unfair that we're having to fight to be financially compensated for our many losses.
You say there in many cases it's irreversible. Is there anything that can be done to improve a woman's life if she's been damaged in this way?
Well, they can go for mesh removal, and there have been specialist centres set up across the UK. But unfortunately, mesh is a plastic weave implant. It was designed to be permanent. It was never designed to come out. So it knits and embeds itself into surrounding tissue. And a lot of people describe it as like trying to pick chewing gum out of matted hair. So a mesh removal surgery is not a walk in the park. It's really difficult. You're not guaranteed it's all going to come out. Some people come out worse. Some people, no improvement, and some will actually see an improvement. So although there is that mesh removal option, there's no guarantees.
And Kath, given the impact it's had on so many women, when it comes to cases like this, they have to relive it all over again, don't they, to try and provide that evidence and seek some financial recompense. That is often very difficult, isn't it, to go through all of this once again and talk about the symptoms and the impact it's had on their lives just to try to get some rectification?
Absolutely spot on. There was a lot in the group that, this story's come out, and obviously the group's really lively with discussion since yesterday. And, there's women posting on there saying, I'm so pleased that this is moving forward, but I don't have the mental strength or bandwidth to be able to cope with a legal case. And additionally, in England, we have, for product liability, there's a 10-year time limit, and for medical negligence, there's a 3-year time limit. So there's a lot of women on the page, even if they wanted to, they couldn't due to the time limits set within English law.
So what is left then? In what other ways can you fight?
Well, there's a lot of things that is being done behind the scenes. I want to toughen up patient safety. So although this is about the mesh story, actually, it's a wider patient safety issue. Medical devices are rushed to market with no pre-market or post-market surveillance. There's no databases tracking the patients to check long-term harm other than the joint registry. That's an incredible database. I want that kind of a database for every single permanently implanted medical device. I also want something called a Sunshine Payment Act, and what that would do would make it very transparent, all the money that's given from industry to the health sector, and it's in its millions. People think that just goes on in America, but it's very much going on in this country too, where industry will give money to researchers, doctors, like media doctors, health charities, and it's been proved that that money creates bias in prescribing and treatment options. Now, I'm not saying we need to get rid of that, but that bias can create a real patient safety concern, and a Sunshine Payment Act would make those payments transparent. So I'm doing that behind the scenes, trying to get that sorted, because it's much wider than just women harmed.
Kath, so good to talk to you this morning. Thank you for talking about it. Kath Sampson there from the campaign group Sling the Mesh.